Hello guys, welcome back to this amazing show. And okay, in our first segment, tulikuwa na Jesmat, and he was sharing about his personal like experience when growing up. So the show is about mental health awareness. Like we're trying to campaign for mental fitness. So today we will have two shows, like one single show with two parts. And now in the second section, we have two guests who are coming to help us break down the need for a fit mental society. So guys, let me start with you, of course. Introduce yourself and maybe tell people more about yourself.
Okay, I'm John Gavito Gishaga, a teacher at Irene Boys High School. I have lived with the bipolar for 14 years. I was first diagnosed when I was working as an expatriate, as a teacher in Seychelles. Actually, when I was diagnosed, I was in the capital city. It just happened because I was so excited, and that is the bullet that made me suffer from bipolar. From there, I found myself in police custody, and they stayed for a whole week without discovering that I was actually bipolar, because I was just a rowdy guy in the streets.
Where was that?
That was in Seychelles.
Okay.
It's a very small country in the Indian Ocean. Then from there, I found myself in a psychiatric hospital. I stayed there for around 1 month. Then when I recovered, I was repatriated. And I'll never forget the kind of despair I saw written all over the face of my mom. From that time, I have struggled. I got a job as a teacher. And I also got a family, although it has now disintegrated. But I'm very happy because I have 3 adult kids. That is my job.
All right. That's nice. Yes.
My name is Christine Miloyo. I'm a mental health advocate, and I create awareness on mental wellness through music, arts, and fashion. I'm very passionate about mental health because my journey with depression started in 2010 when I lost my son while I was still in campus as a 3rd year, and the guy who was responsible ran away. I was left with a baby who had issues with breathing, exams waiting for me like 3 days after I had delivered. It was so much for me. And that's the time that I lost hope in life, was suicidal for quite some time. And when, like 2 years later, when I thought everything was getting better, I was getting better, that's when I had maniac episode. My maniac episode started. I started becoming hyperactive, and everything changed. So I wasn't diagnosed at that time. I was diagnosed in 2015, and I've been on medication ever since that time. But I'm grateful that in October I was put on remission, whereby I don't take medication anymore.
Wow, that's good information, good news. Well, you know, I like the bravery, the courage in her. You know, and I was like, okay, I was almost, you know, like yeah, someone come as well. So guys, you see what she's doing, like trying to inspire others through art and music. Join the movement. This month purely. This month is a mental health awareness month. We are here to help our brothers and sisters. So join us with the train, of course. So let me start with Mwalimu. You're currently a teacher. So how do you find it balancing your life and education? Because in our previous episode, when we were talking to Jesmat, he was explaining like how it's been, you know, kind of hectic trying to balance. So how do you find it?
For me, I've led a normal life because my wife also was kind of my doctor.
Yeah.
Because she would discover when I'm manic or when I have depression, and I would actually take drugs. I would be on pills, and that one would make me lead a normal life. Actually, for the 14 years that I've been a teacher, I've not taught wrong content.
14 years.
Yes, I will not taught wrong content. Actually, I have a very good rapport with my students. But of course, sometimes I would relapse, mainly because I was in denial, and I would refuse to take drugs. So when I would relapse, it would be very bad, because actually, it will make me even have issues with my friends. Because when I'm manic, the first thing I do is take my phone, go to WhatsApp, and go to Facebook, and I would write so much. You know, as a person, There are some things that you've done in your life and you think people do not know.
Sure.
So when I'm manic, I'll actually write sad things to you, or I'll even tell it to you in public. Then from that, friends will kind of run away from me. So the moment you're out of money and you realize the mess you've done, when you put something in WhatsApp or you put something in Facebook, you put it to the whole world.
Yeah, sure.
So again, when you calm down after you've taken meds and you realize the damage you've done, then you get into depression. There are times I will get into bed on Friday and will wake up on Sunday.
Friday, you
wake up on Sunday. Or when I want to wake up when I'm going to the toilet. Actually, that time you were very suicidal. Very suicidal. And like I remember last year, 2020 and early 2021, those are years I would want to delete from my life. Because I had issues with my wife, and because I respect her, I would not want to go into details. I think the mistake was hers. And kind of she tried to blackmail her friends and even my friends by portraying me as a threat to her life. She used bipolar to claim I'm a threat to her life. Actually, I relapsed. I found myself in Njau. For the first time in 14 years, I attempted suicide. That was real, because I had actually hanged myself somewhere in Kenya. But fortunately for me, I was with my buddies. And when I was there, hanging myself, there was an inner voice asking me, if you kill yourself, what have you done to your friends and the innocent? They'll be in jail for the rest of their life. And I actually removed, it was a wire, I removed the wire from my neck when they talked to me. And it has been a journey, it's a long journey. It has been a journey. And I can tell you as a teacher, I think as a person living with bipolar, you must work 3 times as hard as normal people.
Sure.
And because of that, I have worked in internal appointed positions. Like, until recently when I resigned, I was a dean for 10 years, a person who was in charge of the academics. When you're appointed as a dean in a school of 36 members of staff, it means you're performing.
Sure.
It means you're performing. So bipolar, I'm not allowed bipolar to define me.
Sure.
I'm not allowed bipolar, although the stigma is there. The stigma is so real, but sometimes we're also sensitive, very sensitive. Like for example, in a normal African conversation, you will hear people saying in every market there's a madman. Don't be crazy. It's normal in a normal conversation. Before I got bipolar, I would also say it was a normal, that is normal conversation in an African setup. Today if you say that, I switch off, but I SIM card you. And I won't contribute anything.
So, okay, you say that you currently you're not under any medication.
Yes, I'm not under any medication.
So how was your first experience like? When you first started being like maybe depressed, how was your first experience like?
So my first experience with depression, as I have said before, it was in 2010. I lost interest in doing anything. Even just washing a cup, it was a problem. Even brushing my teeth, bathing, changing clothes, it was a big problem. And I was so withdrawn. I never even wanted to talk to anyone.
All right, so before you came to for this show, I was talking to some people, and it's clear that not everybody is well informed about maybe say bipolar, because I was actually talking to someone who's like grown and they didn't know anything about bipolar. So we realized there are 2 types of bipolar, and one of our guests said that he was diagnosed by bipolar 2. So would you maybe elaborate on the difference between 1 and 2, and if there's any other type?
So to begin with, bipolar disorder is a mood disorder that is characterized by episodes of high energy, or what we call mania, and depression, whereby you lose interest in whatever it is that you're doing. So for bipolar 1, it has a longer manic episode, whereby they are hyperactive for most of their lives, and they have a shorter depression episode. But now for bipolar 2, it has a longer depressive episode and a shorter manic episode. And even for them, they are not even manic, it's hypomania, which is, it's not, they are not that, it's not that serious like for bipolar 1. So for me, I was diagnosed with the bipolar 2. I have a longer depressive episode.
All right. So, okay. Let me get back to you. So at what point did you like feel this is getting out of hand? Because if you say you mentioned that it reached a point where okay, the moment you start getting suicidal thoughts, it definitely means it's kind of getting out of hand, and you like need to look for help. So at what stage, like did you like now realize I should now look for help, and who did you go to the first person?
Actually, for me, I become suicidal mostly when I feel like the people around me are not loving.
Yeah, sure.
Sometimes it may not be real, it may just be a perception. And rarely do I have the capacity to decide that I now need medication. It becomes the responsibility of people around me. Like that time, when I was like that, I had gone to visit my friends in Kenya. I have friends of mine who do roads construction. It's called concrete work. They are given the permits when the release is constructing the roads. So it is them who discovered that this guy is not okay. And then they contacted my family members. So my family members, I actually come from a place called Njau. So they came for me and took me to jail. When you are in that status, you cannot do anything for yourself. It is a responsibility of those people around you to do it. Actually, today, where I am today, I am here today because of the responsibility of my friends and my brothers. If they were not there for me, I'm very sure, I'm double sure, I will be 6 feet deep. It's a responsibility of people around me to even stabilize me. And when people who are bipolar, and she will also agree with me, we are very creative and very intelligent. Only when you're surrounded by love and acceptance. Like, as we move on with the interview, you realize the kind of things I've done for my family and friends, simply because they've been there. Personally, I have had a very strong support system. Very strong support system. That's what I'm there today.
All right.
Yes.
So, Christine.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know why I'm throwing second questions to you, but I kind of feel like the role, your role in the society, like trying to empower those people who are experiencing bipolar, is kind of commendable. So there might be somebody outside there who doesn't know what to do, and the problem always starts from like, okay, statistically, 93% of people who are at the adolescent age, they don't feel free to express what they're feeling. This is because they are afraid of maybe personal guilt. Because you see, there are people who run into depression maybe because of some problem that was caused by maybe family member that made them go for drugs. Drugs, substance abuse. Then from there it escalates to maybe say depression. And they kind of feel like if I go and talk to my parents, they will start judging me. The society will judge me. So because of that self-guilt, they say like, oh, I'm not going to talk to anybody. So would you mind breaking down the steps, like slowly by slowly, how you first did yours?
So for me, my sister is a nurse and my mom is a teacher. So my sister had read a lot about the condition.
Sure.
So, but she wasn't sure about what it is that I was going through. Because as I had told you earlier that it started with depression, then when I thought everything was getting better, it escalated into something bigger. And that was when I was diagnosed in 2015. So, plus...
After 5 years?
Yeah, after 5 years. So for me, I used to read a lot. My passion was to become a neuroscientist. So I used to read a lot of articles on bipolar. So there was a time I came across an article in the newspaper about bipolar, and I was like, hey, maybe this is what I'm suffering from. And I was like diagnosed like a few months later, and at least it confirmed everything. So for me, when there was a time I was admitted in Madare in July 2015. So I had become psychotic. psychosis is whereby you lose touch with reality. So, like, you can feel you're a very important person, you can even feel like you're the president of the United States of America, or you're a very prominent journalist. So that's how I was feeling. So, like, that time I thought that I was working with CNN, so I was presenting news, I was doing very, very funny things. So that's when I was taken to Madare Hospital. So the first thing that, if a parent recognizes that their child is not well, probably they've lost interest in what they are doing, like hygiene, they are withdrawn. Those could be signs of depression. And depression probably could be caused by, probably they failed in their exams, maybe they are doing drugs, maybe it's a girl or who has been raped or a guy who's been sodomized, maybe the expectations are not being met, maybe they've been dumped by their girlfriend. So such things can cause one to go into depression. So, and another thing with the other side of bipolar, which is hypomania and manic episodes, hypersexuality is one of them, whereby you find a person cannot control themselves. They go and have sexual relations with almost everyone. That's also another sign. Insomnia is also another sign whereby you find someone can not even sleep for more than 2 hours. 30 minutes is enough. Even they can go for days without sleeping. Probably they lose appetite.
Wait. Talking about lack of sleep, lack of sleep.
Yes.
Like you say, like if somebody can sleep, is it a guarantee that if somebody can sleep for more than 2 hours, they might be.
Not really. We have something called the DSM-5 something that's used to diagnose people. So you need to present at least 3 to 4 signs, like they come as in zikwe at happening to you at the same time. That's when you can be diagnosed. So you can't say that probably you sleep for 1 hour like your head that you're bipolar. So many other things are.
Right. So okay. Kuna vitu zenye zinazotuma, okay, there are things that trigger, they trigger. Like for instance, I didn't get clearly, like because you started by saying you are in switches, right? And then you became like before, like super excited and energized, that you are kind of brought back. So what are some of the things that maybe trigger you, like into being maybe saying Emmanuel?
Now my issue is I'm rarely triggered by things that make people sad. Never. I'm rarely triggered. There are 2 things that trigger me. When I'm too angry, it's a trigger. Or when I make an achievement in life and I'm so excited, that's the worst.
Wait. Super excitement is the worst.
Yes. That is the bullet. That's when I do something and I realize I've succeeded. Like the time I did a house for my mom. I removed her from my parents from a rental house to a 3-bedroom mansionette. That was the worst moment. I was super excited. I found myself in Godfrey. Yes.
It's tricky.
It's tricky.
And on the side.
So for me, what triggers me is stress. Especially for family. Like there was a time we were not so good with my family. I wasn't getting along with my siblings. So they normally told my mom, it's like you're favoring this girl, we don't even want to see her in this house. So we were ever fighting. So that's also a trigger. Another thing, it took me 8 years to complete my degree. So if I imagined that guys have graduated, they're working, and there's nothing that I can do, and it's only 1 semester that has dragged me on for 4 years, I felt like a failure. So for me, what triggers me so much is stress and my expectations not being met.
Okay, so there's always the trigger, something that triggers you into maybe running into maybe say that kind of state. So what do you do as an individual? Maybe say as an individual, what do you do to like maybe control yourself, maybe from doing certain stuff, like maybe getting out the suicidal thoughts and stuff like that?
Like for me, I want to be frank. For me, when I'm hypermanic, I get out of control. It is the people around me that realize that this guy is talking too much. he's talking too much. I'm like him. Or they go to my status because I love WhatsApp. The kind of things he's posting, this is not him. Then someone will call me and tell me, no, my close buddies, ask me, John, what's happening? Particularly my acquaintances. Like my wife plays that role very well. She's now my ex-wife. I'm now dating that girl over there. She has also done it so well. Like even this week, she realized I'm talking too much. I can actually put credit and call her for 3 hours. Then she tells me, no, John, something is wrong. You have to take your medicine. And I can go ahead and say the reason I met her is because she's also in depression. And I vowed in my life, I'll never date anybody who's no more. I want to date a member of somebody who also has issues. I don't want black any of them.
When I was today discussing this thing again, I'm starting to reflect. So according to her, she is doing so much in the society, trying to, help those people who are maybe undergoing the same thing. Maybe on you, anything that you do in the society like that now?
Yes, I do. You see where I come from, I'm a high school teacher. Yeah. And I'm in a village. So when you're a high school teacher in a village, and I command a lot of respect. I'm one of those guys who cannot go to the shopping center just like that. I have to look at how I look like. Smart. So command a lot of respect. So from that, I have moved to very many families with members with mental disorders. And when I encourage them and tell them, you can take care of this person, all they need is a psychiatrist and a therapist, some drugs, and a pat on the back to tell them things can be okay. And I openly tell them, I am bipolar myself, and I'm able to teach. I have brought up a very nice family, 3 adult children, because my friends and my family cares. If you do the same for your kids, they'll also do the same. But I remember the time one neighbor had around 3 members with mental issues. Sometimes mental issues have something to do with the genes. It is all about lifestyle. Like myself, I think it has something to do. Although I can't remember anybody in my family who has genes. Could be 4 or 5 generations behind somebody who was bipolar. Sure. Because these things are in the genes. So, and they really disturbed that young man. That means telling him, could be your father did not take enough dowry. And this guy had to sell his cows. He go to a very old woman to take dowry. And I called him. I told him, don't listen to the society. You need money to take care of these people. And mental illness is not a curse. It is not a curse that you take someone to the church for deliverance. All you need is a psychiatrist, a therapist, and a pat on the back to tell you things okay. And I can tell you for sure, I have helped so many people. And the others I even need to go and have a fellowship. Like one is married to a primary school teacher, and she keeps on threatening she will go. I told the young man, somebody is blackmailing you just because of your condition. Do not let nobody make you feel guilty about your condition. You don't think. And with therapy and medication, you're okay. Something else I've done. I'm very sensitive on Facebook. Because when you post something in Facebook, you have no control of where it is going to go. You even remember the guy who posted something about White House. He nearly went all the way to the US. So I'm very sensitive. But I'm very open in my WhatsApp status because anybody in my WhatsApp is in my contact. Like even if you look at my status today, they are all things all around health with my picture there. And I tell people mental illness is a club. It depends. Anybody can be a member. I was not a member before 2007. I grew up as a very normal child. No sign that I ever have mental issues. I went to high school. No sign that I ever have mental issues. I finished university. No issues. I started working. No issues. until I got a chance to go to the Seychelles. And it was my boyhood ambitions to go to the US. Today, when I ask myself, what was I going to do? It's the reason because where I come from is a mission area. Anybody successful has some roots outside the country. So I really wanted to be out. So when I got a chance to go to Seychelles, it was an achievement of my boyhood ambitions. I'm telling you, it didn't take long. I was super excited. And I've relapsed over could be about 20 times since then.
So like according to you, yours was because you lost your son. But according to you was the act of you going to Seychelles. Okay. So what can you tell people who are outside there who feel like they are kind of being, because let me share this story. There's this person like I on Instagram, I think we were following each other, and it's not like I never saw the face. But what triggered me or compelled me to follow this person was the type of post this person was posting. So I think I started following this person around August. I think it was in 2017. Then I could check the post. She could, I think she was a lady. She could like post like every single week, once a week. Then I could follow the post, and she was depressed. I think she even calls herself it's the depressed girl. You know? So that is what compelled me to follow this person. So then I could follow the post step by step. Then I realized like for every single time she posted something, it was something new, but negatively in her life. Like she could portray a picture of a lady who was in a dark phase of life that wanted people to like maybe come through, but nobody was there, including the society around her, the family and stuff like that. Then she could post like today, cuts on her wrist, tomorrow cuts on another part of the body, tomorrow maybe pills, and you could tell like they were too much, overdose. So it went like that till January of 2018. Then the last post I saw was from now the sister saying, I am the sister of this lady. I'm the sister to the person who owns this account. She collapsed yesterday because of overdose. She took a lot of pills, and that's how she died. Now you see, this one tells us how key the way the society interacts with our brothers and sisters with the condition play, how key your role in shaping them is. Like you just had, like I'm a same of this, like it is not him who decides what to do when he becomes mania, but it is the society, the people surrounding him. So my brothers and sisters, like we are the ones who are supposed to join them, join Christy in the movement, join Walimu in the movement of during this month of mental health awareness. Amesema vizuri. Actually, thank you for mentioning that statement. People having mental illness is not a choice, but a club. Ni club. I wish you'd have said that looking at the camera. It's a club. You never know. Because sometimes I always sit down and I'm like overstressed. Like you don't know what is stressing you out. Maybe it is illness, maybe it's education, maybe it's just family issue. You are super stressed. And trust me, you don't even know what to do. That's why I was keen when you mentioned about insomnia, and I was like, wait, do you want to say that because I actually sometimes I can go for a whole week without sleeping, But that's how I first of all asked whether you guys, since you've gone through that, do you also do something else in the society? Because I was having that phase of personal reflection and stuff like that. Like sometimes I can go for a week without sleeping, and sometimes you just like you don't eat. I think the condition is called bulimia. So I was like, okay, maybe let me use these two people who are doing a commendable job to see if I'm like, okay, maybe I'm also stressed or maybe I'm almost there. But I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's go for. So guys, you can look at the camera. Maybe if someone wants to communicate with you guys, like ask how your projects are moving. If you want to like mentor somebody who maybe mental health, let's talk to them.
Mental illness is a club. Anybody can be a member. It pains me when I go to markets and find people with mental disorders feeding from garbage and picking papers, and yet they have members of their families. It is good we take these people to hospitals because all they need is a psychiatrist, a therapist, medication, and a part at the back telling them that all shall be well. If my brothers do not take care of me and my buddies, today I will not be a teacher. I will be picking papers in marketplaces. And I'll be part of that statistics that says in every market there's a madman.
All right.
Support is something that all of us need to work together towards supporting those with mental illness. That means that if it's medication, the medication isn't cheap at all. Ensure that you support your loved one in getting medication. If it's attending therapies, we also have psychotherapy whereby the entire family can be trained on how to treat a family member well. So that will help in destigmatizing the society, because there's a lot of stigma in society, especially for us persons with bipolar. Most people usually call us mogoroki, mwenda wazimu, lunatic, very, very bad words. But this is a condition that is manageable, and with medication and therapy, we can be able to live a productive life. So I would like to say, if you're depressed or you're feeling hyperactive or manic, what I can say, we have hotlines that provide counseling services for free. Like we have the Red Cross hotline, whereby you can dial 1199 on any Safaricom phone, and 24/7 you'll get someone to talk to you. If at all you also need someone to talk to you and you're undergoing issues of sexual gender-based violence, you can call 1195 and somebody will be able to talk to you. So my parting shot, I would love to say that for so long, especially as Africans, we've stigmatized people with mental health issues and discriminated against them. Like recently on social media, there was a post by Benjamin Zulu, who is a well-renowned psychologist. He was talking about people not marrying people with emotional disorders, for instance, bipolar, schizophrenia, saying that they are not a charitable institution to support such a person. That is very, very much uncalled for, especially for a person with a high standing status in society who supports people through psychological counseling. That was too low for him to discriminate against persons with mental illness. So what I will say is that each and everyone has a role to play in ensuring that we fight stigma and help persons with mental illness to be accepted and included in society.
All right. So find you like you as Christine, you as Manu. Christine.
So for me, you can find me on Facebook as Christine Miloyo. And we also have a Facebook fan page that's dedicated to mental health awareness called Stand Out for Health. And they can also WhatsApp or call me on 0728 693 669.
All right. Yes, Manu.
Yes, you can find me on Facebook as John Gishaga, and WhatsApp, my number is 0720 288 003.
Okay, so thank you very much for sparing time to come. It is required for people to know how you the welfare of you guys. So we are going to organize another show, because I don't feel like we've exhausted everything. Like this month, we are going to dedicate it fully for mental health awareness and stuff like that. So we'll be coming with another episode on, like you said, talking about how, there's some of people, some of the people are in the rehab centers, So we'll be bringing how is life in the rehab centers. So that was very, 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 very brave of you guys to come out and just share with people how life is actually, how you guys feel. So guys, we've come to the end of this session. It was long, like having a part 1 and part 2 of the same topic, but it's still going to bring more and more hot content about this topic of mental health awareness. So guys, thank you very much for watching, and may you please subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can see more heated debate, heated content, and please, thanks for watching.